For most people, their house is their home. It's the house they grew up in. They were born there and learned to walk there. They've had dinner together as a family in that house every night after school. They love living there and couldn't imagine anywhere else feeling like home. My story, however, is a little different. Yep, that's me, Alex. 1996, living in Mason, Ohio. This was my first house. My parents took me through that front door after I was born. Both my parents were working in Cincinnati at the time, so Mason seemed like an excellent option for them. About 3 years after I was born, my younger brother Matt came along. Shortly after, we moved into this house right here to accommodate my youngest brother, Zach. Our family loved living there. I loved it there. I had tons of friends, I loved school. Everything was all fine and good. Then one night, my dad sat us all down to talk.
It was about 11 years ago now when I was in the process of figuring out a new role with the same company. And so it was a long time coming. We thought maybe we'd go to Florida, maybe we'd go someplace else. And then we ultimately decided to move to Indianapolis.
Not so bad, I thought. Indianapolis would be a lot like Cincinnati. So our family packed our bags and moved over to Zionsville, just north of Indianapolis. We built this house right here, so we were planning on staying for a while. I didn't fit in very well, but luckily I was playing a lot of sports, so I did meet some friends through that. Some people think the story ends here because when they ask where I'm from, I usually say Zionsville. However, that's not the case.
South Carolina was a little harder, I think, for everyone for multiple reasons. We were leaving the Midwest. It was only we were only 2 hours away from all our family and such, whereas now we're going to be 10 plus hours away into a different environment, different culture. The weather's different, everything's different there.
So we found out we were going to be moving to South Carolina. The whole year prior to moving, my dad actually worked down there without us, and it was really tough not having him around.
I spent almost a year by myself, coming back every couple weeks. And it was boring. I just worked a lot, basically. Did a few things, fun things, but coming back and forth every couple weeks for the weekend was kind of tough. I missed a lot. I didn't like missing so much of what was going on with you guys.
So about a year after we found out, we made the move down into this house right here. So I spent my freshman year of high school down in South Carolina. I actually fit in pretty well there. I was making a lot of friends, playing sports, and I was enjoying it. Then we sat down at dinner one night and found out we were going to be moving for a third time.
All intentions, we were going to live in Mason again or near Cincinnati, and then we just never could find anything that worked out. And so it made sense to move back home to Indy in Zionsville. Go ahead and I'd just go back and forth every week, which also wasn't great, but at least I was home on the weekends. If I needed to get someplace, I could be there in 2 hours, so that wasn't as bad.
So we hopped back on the road and headed back to our old house in Zionsville. The same house we built back in 2007. Dad was going to be working over in Cincinnati, so he lived there during the week and then traveled back to Zionsville for the weekends. I finished up my last 3 years of high school in Zionsville, and I was fitting in a lot better than I was before. Then it came time for me to find my new home and find a place to go to college. So I decided to become a polar bear and study at Ohio Northern University. I finally found a true place to call home. I've met some of my best friends in the basketball team, the track team, and in the engineering school. I wasn't always a fan of moving, but I think looking back on it, it actually taught me a lot of valuable life lessons.
Anytime you go through struggles, there's always something good that comes from it. And what good came from it was exactly what Dad said. You guys can go anywhere and do anything, and I gotta stop again. You are really great at meeting new people and making conversation and trying new things. So I always tried to say it was just a big adventure, so.
And my adventure isn't over. I graduate next week and I'm going to have to move on to the next phase of my life and find a new home. I will definitely cherish my time at ONU and can't thank everyone enough for making it such an enjoyable experience. And of course, go Bears.